What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I'm saying welcome back because I know that this is not going to be very clickable for someone that doesn't know me. You probably tell by the thumbnail that this is a personal one. I just came back from my aunt's house. I went to measure her garage door opening because she wants to buy a new garage door. I used to be in the garage door service, repair and sales industry. She called me up and said she's looking to get a new one finally, so I just went to do the measurements, and that's my aunt on my dad's side of the family, and it brought up some thoughts today for me about my dad, my biological father. In fact, like, I know my aunt better than I really know my dad. I knew that one day I would probably talk about this. I thought I would be talking about it at a certain location, which I'll bring up in a minute. But I don't ever go over there, so I thought I'd bring it up today when I saw my aunt, which is my dad's sister, and we talked about him a little bit today too when I was there. Because she saw that I was wearing a flannel, and she's like, "Oh, your dad used to wear flannels," and I actually didn't even know that. I kind of remember him wearing flannels, but I don't know him when he was young. Like, I don't know anything about him really when he was young. I do know that one time that he went to sleep that he climbed up on a billboard and slept up there. That's one story I do know about him. So my mom and my biological father got divorced when I was like 14, and I kind of saw it coming. It wasn't too much of a shocker. After my parents divorced, I never really heard from my real dad much after that. I think maybe a year or two later, my real dad was dating this lady, and I'm pretty sure she was making him reach out to me because we would all hang out together, me and my dad and his new lady, and it felt kind of forced. Actually, it was a little bit awkward. We would just do, like, I don't know, I remember going to his apartment and playing cards, and I think we went to the gym a couple times. I think, like, they had a free membership with their membership, so they got me on their membership, and I may have gone to the gym with them a couple times. This only lasted like maybe a month or two. So that was like around 16, 17. And then when I was like 19, my grandmother passed away, which is his mom. And I need to get over, but these people are driving like... Anyway, so I saw my dad when I was like 19, and honestly, we didn't really talk at the funeral. And then I just never really heard from him. I heard about him, like I would hear from my aunt and other family members that he was staying at my uncle's like ranch out in Alpine, which is East San Diego. I think on a trailer out on that ranch, on that property, just doing like working under the counter. He was a machinist, so I think he was just kind of working on the counter doing that. But cut to about 2015, from like 19, let's say, I was 19 years old in 1998. So I cut to about 2016. I hadn't seen him since I was 19 years old. In 2016, I was 37. So from 19 to 37, I hadn't seen him. 6 years ago, I was working on garage doors in the field, and I used to work for this company where we would do cash deposits. So I would take cash from a customer, and then we would immediately have to put it in the bank with this deposit card. So I would go to random Bank of Americas. So I stopped out in a Bank of America out in El Cajon, and then I went to the Wendy's because I really had to use the bathroom. So I went into the Wendy's. I never go to Wendy's. Like, I don't know why. Wendy's is not bad at all. I just never think about going to Wendy's. So I went into Wendy's, and I have this weird thing where when I use a restaurant bathroom, I kind of always buy something just so I'm not the guy that went in there to use the bathroom and didn't buy anything. So I would say like 60-70% of the time I'll usually buy something. So I bought a soda, like like a fountain drink. It's one of those machines that has like the screen and has all the different flavors, like a touch screen, like the super high-tech soda fountains that you see in some places. So I went up, there was a guy in front using it. I was just kind of like waiting for him to be done. I was just kind of looking around, and then I look at him, and then I said, "Richard?" And he turned around, and it was my dad. And he looked at me, didn't recognize me, and I said, "It's me, Ricky." I was like, "Your son?" and he's oh wow, hey. And we hugged each other, and we sat down for a little bit at the restaurant. He had his meal and I had my drink, and I showed him pictures of my kids. He had never seen my kids, his grandkids. And then we parted ways. Well, kind of. He was taking the bus everywhere, so he asked me if I would mind giving him a ride to meet up with a friend. So I dropped him off, and it was by like a Home Depot. And I've been by that Home Depot after that situation, and I don't know if they were homeless or what, but I've seen homeless people in that same area. I don't know if he was homeless or just hanging out with homeless people, or I don't really know exactly. I would say like maybe, I think like 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from my sister, and which is pretty weird because my sister doesn't just randomly call me. And she's calling me all blubbering, and like she's like, "Dad died." I was like, "What?" At first, I actually thought she was talking about my stepdad, because we call him Dad. I was like, "Dad?" He's like, "Yes, our dad, our biological father." I was like, "Oh." And like I just kind of froze. I honestly, I didn't have much of a reaction. I was just like, "Oh wow." I was like, "Well, thank you for calling me." And we hung up, and honestly, I didn't really feel much for maybe a couple weeks before it really hit me. And I think I was, talking to my girlfriend about it, maybe sharing some stories that I have, and I think I finally broke into tears maybe like a couple weeks later. But I posted it on Facebook back then that what happened. Like I ran into him at Wendy's, and he died 2 weeks later. And a lot of people were like, "Wow, that probably was meant to be." And I'm not too huge on fate or like the universe, but I'm not a disbeliever, and I do kind of feel like it was fate that I ran into him just 2 weeks before he passed away. It was from, I want to say, from heart conditions. He was, let's see, if I was 37, that meant he was 57. I always knew that he was exactly 30 years older than me, and he was smoking since he was 11 years old. So you kind of always knew that something was going to happen to him. Not the best health, I do feel like my grieving situation was a little less impacted by the fact that I had just seen him. So for sure had some closure. I got to say bye to him like recently instead of almost 20 years after seeing him. I got to show him pictures of my daughter. Unfortunately, he never met them in person. Like I said, I don't go to Wendy's very often, but every time I go to a Wendy's or see a Wendy's, I do think about my dad, which is a sentence I never thought I would say in my life ever. Like every time I go to Wendy's, I think of my dad. Like I never thought that would be a sentence that I'm saying now for the rest of my life. But yeah, every time I go past a Wendy's, I think of my dad. So I'm glad I had that little bit of a time with him. Even though we weren't really close at all, obviously, I don't really have too many memories of him. I just remember him working all the time, coming home, taking his shoes off, watching TV, going to sleep, going to work again. I want to guess that he was a hard worker. I just know that he and my mom weren't right for each other after a while, and now I have my stepdad who's still around, and I'm great to have him in my life. I don't know if he'll ever see this, but I'm very grateful for him. Well, that's gonna do it. I'm on my way home right now. It is about it's 2:30 right now. I'm going to try to see if I can do a quick little install on my motorcycle to do as a video. It's the Ens Cuyo. I don't know how to say it, but I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. It's like a little swing arch saddlebag. So there's going to be a video coming up on that. And thanks for watching. I appreciate you. And if you made it this far, you're a real one, man. Thank you.